Jay here from Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm in my kitchen. I'm not outside Old Trafford in the studio, but do get involved in the comments and the chat. And as for the weather, it's looking a bit cloudy here, not so sunny. Salford, make sure you are hitting that like, share, and subscribe button. We want to get to 750,000 subscribers by the end of the season. And with your support, we can get there. Like, there's a lot of United stories doing the rounds this morning. There's a bit of talking about gloomy weather. There's a bit of doom and gloom when it comes to Manchester United. Rumours of Ten Hag, whether he's going to get sacked, what's going to happen about his future, how he's sort of, he's on borrowed time, all that sort of stuff. And Gareth Southgate. The Gareth Southgate stories, reports, rumours are beginning to gather a little bit of momentum. And just from a personal point of view, as a United fan, that concerns me somewhat. I'm not a big fan of Gareth Southgate or the idea of him managing Manchester United. So we'll get into all these stories. Let's first of all start with this one in the Evening Standard. This one was from late last night, and I think it says Manchester United have decided that Erik Ten Hag will not be sacked before the FA Cup final. This is what Alex Young in the Evening Standard's written. The club are guaranteed to endure one of their worst seasons in Premier League history under the guidance of the beleaguered manager. Monday evenings, 4-0 humbling at the hands of Palace, confirming they will not better their worst ever points tally, which stands at the 58 accrued in the 21-22 season. The loss at Selhurst Park was also a 13th league defeat of the season, which is a record. But, and this has come by the Telegraph to be fair, Ten Hag will be allowed to at least see out the rest of the season, which culminates with the FA Cup final against Manchester City on May the 25th. There was some suggestion, and I think it was more pundits really. I think Michael Owen and one or two others maybe saying that he could go. The board could go, just let's get someone else in for the cup final. I think that would be a huge mistake. I'd actually like to see Erik Ten Hag being given the opportunity next season. I don't know, actually. I think it's quite split. I was going to say I'm in the minority, but I think there's quite split. Some people out there still saying, look, give this manager opportunity. But either way, I don't think there's that many people, and by all means, get involved in the chat in the comments and let me know if I'm wrong, who are saying get rid of him now. So I'm not surprised that there's reports that's not going to happen, because that does feel like it would be a bit of a leap to just go, right, you're not even going to be manager of the cup final. And when Spurs do it, Ryan Mason and Jose Mourinho ahead of the League Cup final, I mean, it's slightly different, but it'd be a similar thing where you're going, really? You're going to sack him just before a cup final? I mean, that one was ludicrous, because I thought Jose Mourinho had a chance of beating Manchester City where Ryan Mason had no chance. But that's for different reasons altogether. Another story, this one's in the Daily Mail. It says, exclusive players revealed the Manchester United dressing room collapse. Underachieving players are no longer listening to Erik Ten Hag, with his authority eroded. He also says that United is sticking with Ten Hag for now, but he goes on to say that the Dutchman's authority in the dressing room has been eroded and players just aren't listening to him. I mean, it's not great, is it? I mean, when you hear stories like that, you might look at it and go, okay, is that just a bit of an exaggeration, or is that completely accurate? But I mean, we're hearing so many different reports that things aren't rosy, that you begin to think that maybe there is something there. There's also a story as well in The Guardian. This is, I'm trying to see who's written it, actually. Our mate Jamie Jackson, friend of the channel, obviously been on the channel over the years many times. He says Manchester United's coaching staff believe their squad has too few vocal leaders, and that the injured Lisandro Martinez has been sorely missed in that regard. The defender has been unavailable for 37 of United's 48 games this season, owing to foot, knee and calf problems, including Monday's humiliating 4-0 defeat at Crystal Palace. The Guardian understands Erik Ten Hag's coaching staff have noticed how much quieter the changing room is in Martinez's absence, and believe this has been detrimental to performances and results. Although Martinez is not the only vocal player, his presence is considered vital in creating a winning mentality and driving the squad on. The captain, Bruno Fernandes, is the on-field leader and leads by example. I mean, it's not really news, is it, that we're missing Lisandro Martinez? I think everyone knows that, and everyone can see that. But it's just troubling that without him, we just look so lost. We really do. We're desperate to get him back, really. And I'm hoping he's going to be back for the FA Cup final. Ideally, you'd like him to be back before that, so that's not his first game back after injury, but I'd take anything right now. I mean, we're all over the gaff, aren't we? Casemiro in defence. Johnny Evans wasn't even fit, I think, fully fit or match fit for the game against Crystal Palace. It's it's becoming a bit of a shambles. We need our players back. We definitely need Lisandro Martinez back if we're going to have any chance of winning that FA Cup final. I think so anyway. Get involved in the comments and let me know what you think, whether you agree or disagree. There's a story here. I'm getting to it. Southgate is United's top target. Now, this has been posted on the Mirror online. It's coming from Foot Mercato. I think they're out of France. And it says Manchester United want Gareth Southgate to replace Erik ten Hag as manager, according to Foot Mercato. The club are reportedly keen to get an agreement in place in the coming weeks, though no announcement is expected until after Euro 2024. England boss Southgate is United's top target, has been claimed, and a move would see him return to the Premier League after more than a decade away. I've done a video on this already about Gareth Southgate and why I don't think he's the right man for the England job. And I think it's the one story or the one bit of news that can bring every United fan together. From what I've seen online, I don't think there's anyone out there I've noticed that's thinking Gareth Southgate to Manchester United would be a good idea or would be the answer to our problems. I think everyone's going, please no. I mean, when this story broke last night, when we've had other reports about Gareth Southgate potentially coming to Manchester United, all I've seen from people I've spoke to as well, not just online, but also in the group chats and stuff, is just people saying, no, Gareth Southgate is not the answer to our problems. Look, he's done a decent job at England. I think you look at his tournament record, a semi-final in 2018 in the World Cup, a final in 2020, 21 in the Euros, and a quarter-final in the last World Cup. That's not bad, yeah? And I'm old enough to remember when England, well, I suppose a lot of you weren't even qualifying all the time for tournaments or were getting knocked out by dross like Iceland. So you can't dismiss that. However, does that make him a good enough coach, manager, or experienced enough manager to come into Manchester United? I don't think it does. If you look at his club record, when he was at Middlesbrough, he got sacked. He got them relegated and then he got sacked. That was a stick used to beat Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with. At least Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he got sacked at Cardiff, I think, and got them relegated. At least he had some club pedigree. Ole had won a couple of titles in Norway. Gareth Southgate hasn't really done anything in club football. He hasn't really done many transfers where you look at it and go, okay, that was a really successful transfer. He hasn't coached the team to have any success, win any trophies, or even be competitive in the Premier League. And he's been relegated and sacked the last time he was at a club with Middlesbrough. Then when it comes to England, yes, the tournament record on paper is good. Scratch beneath the surface, though. He hasn't really shone in some of those big games. I think against France in the World Cup in the quarterfinals, his tactics were baffling. Taking off Bukayo Saka, giving Raheem Sterling minutes when he hadn't trained all week, giving Marcus 5 minutes, I think, when he'd been on fire for England that tournament. If you look at the Croatia game in the previous World Cup, Croatia were there for the taking. England take the lead. We can't get it over the line. I say we because I do support England. Then in the Euros, again, England take the lead against a very beatable Italy team and end up going out on penalties. Again, you have to question some of Southgate's decision-making, bringing on Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford just to take penalties when they'd not kicked a ball. Didn't make much sense to me. So, Southgate, I'm not feeling it at all. I think this would be a bad move for Manchester United. Now, we don't know. At the moment, I'm seeing a lot of stories about it, but a lot of the stories are coming from that one report, from that Foot Mercato. So it gathers a bit of momentum, but when you go sort of unpick it all, it goes back to that report. So it's not as though there's loads of different papers or whatever, or websites reporting this from loads of different sources. It's all coming from Foot Mercato. As far as I can see, go and have a check out yourself and see if there's any more. Adam McCall made me laugh. He says, he quoted the tweet. There's a journalist who's tweeted it and he quoted it and said, we'll probably be in the Championship soon, so make sense bringing in that level of manager. You've got to laugh, haven't you, as you'll cry. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. I'm going to be back later on tonight for Paddock Live, myself and Joe Smith. All day, don't worry about that. I'll be Jay Motty. This has been a Paper Talk in my kitchen, looking out the window at a pretty cloudy Salford. Hopefully, brighter days ahead on and off the pitch at Manchester United. Thanks for watching.